You guys heard the video in the beginning, man. Look, TJ Houshmandzadeh, right? He is a Cincinnati Bengal for sure. He's a Cincinnati Bengal, so he felt some type of way that, Keyshawn Johnson said he would put Hurts over Joe Burrow. I would too, because Hurts was the only one that beat Patrick Mahomes. Well, you could say Burrow beat him in the AFC Championship game, but he didn't finish the deal against Matthew Stafford. It's funny how the Bengals and their history, how it repeats itself, right? At one point, the Bengals had TJ Houshmandzadeh. They also had Chad Johnson, and they had Carson Palmer, and they lost. They didn't get anywhere. The Bengals were irrelevant. Now, modern times, they have a Joe Burrow, they have a Jamar Chase, they have a T. Higgins, and they can't get nowhere. So I don't want to hear, oh, we got all this and all that. When you look at the defensive side of the ball, when you really look at the defensive side of the ball for the Philadelphia Eagles, right, there's really no big names. Now, there's names that, they coming along, like Jalen Carter. That was a draftee. That wasn't no big signing. Nolan Smith. That was a draftee. Zach Bond. We signed him for a one-year deal. We ain't know what he was going to be. So when you hear this super team, why can't be like, oh, the Eagles really developed this team right, because most of those guys were drafted by the Eagles. Even when you look at the offensive side of the ball, you probably could count on one hand how many dudes were signed from an outside team. Okay, we traded for Dotson, and we traded for A.J. Brown. But when you look at the offensive line, Jordan Mailata, Lane Johnson, Cam Jurgens, Landon Dickerson, and Tyler Steen, let's say if he start, those are all Eagles guys. Jalen Hurts, Eagles guy. Now Saquon came from another team, so we're talking about, two guys on the offensive side so far, and A.J. Brown and Saquon Barkley, and Dotson. That's three guys. So it's like, bro, you give Howie some credit, give Jalen his credit. Give him his credit, because Jalen actually did one of the most selfless things ever. You don't think Jalen see the talent on the outside, like, man, I could have like 5,000 yards, but is that really going to help the team? Even A.J. Brown's like, yo, Saquon's one of the greatest players I ever seen play. And you're like, you know what? I got to take a step back. But what A.J. Brown was complaining about is that when I get my opportunity, I want you to see me, because it's going to be limited, because we know what, Saquon Barkley's been doing and how he's been having a phenomenal year. And let's talk about this, right? They saying C.J. Stroud, and then you heard Paul Pierce say Jaden Daniels. C.J. Stroud, he had one good year, and it's funny that Jaden Daniels was mentioned, which so far he had one good year. What I have to say about the young guys that's on 1 year, 2 year, let them build some sweat equity. Let them, build the name for themselves, because teams adjust. C.J. Stroud, sophomore slump. Jaden Daniels, teams gonna be like, okay, we got a year tape on him now. This is what he like to do. This is the offense they like to run. And let's see if we can do it, because what happened with Jalen Hurts? I mean, he's year 6, year 7. And teams adjust a little bit, but Jalen Hurts was still able to overcome and even win the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts had an MVP year. At one point, Jalen Hurts almost beat out Tom Brady for the MVP, but Jalen Hurts got hurt. I think it was in the Chicago game, missed a couple games. That's why they gave it to Tom Brady. But Jalen Hurts would have been an MVP of this league. He would have been an MVP. So these analysts constantly try to disrespect them, because honestly, what I personally think, they be having these report cards on players. They were like, yeah, it's no way he can exceed these expectations. Because when Jalen Hurts came into the league, a lot of people thought he was going to be a Taysom Hill type guy. But nah, he's a legitimate quarterback who got the best deep ball in the NFL, who can go off at any time, and one of the most selfless players. He's one of the most selfless players, man. So when you try to, disrespect him, that's wrong. That's absolutely wrong, man. He is top 5. I think it's debatable to put him over Joe Burrow. I would say that is a strong debate, but he's definitely top 5. And then the guys I put in that 5 is absolutely ridiculous. But let me know what you think about this one, man. I had to come out and shoot the video. You know, I couldn't do it in the studio, but we're going to get back to the regular schedule tomorrow. This is Eagle Al, man. I'm out.